How's it going, YouTube lovers? This is PixelEagle138, aka the Eagle Builder Animator, and welcome back to another episode of Eagle Game, where today it is time for another snapshot review. Haven't done one of these in a while, but this is an interesting snapshot, and it's a quick one too. So I figured I'd take a look at it for you guys. This one is Snapshot 19W34A, and it is not quite sure what the theme of this next update is going to be just yet. It's hard to tell from this, but we are going to be getting a new mob in this, so maybe that'll hint that we're going to just have in general more wildlife. That'd be pretty cool. But I'm really excited to show it off to you guys, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Pretty much everything is based around this mob, you'll see. So that mob is, of course, the bee. They have bees in Minecraft now. So let's go ahead and spawn a bee in. That's a bee. It's kind of big. It's a bit weird how it's so big, and the reason I have flowers is because bees are attracted to flowers in the same way that cows and sheep are attracted to weed and chickens are attracted to seeds. So, like you would expect, that's actually what you would use to breed bees. Come here, bee. I need to show off the baby bee. Here we go, and boom. Just feed them that, and then where's the baby? Look at the baby bee! That's actually amazing. I wish that the bees were just this size in general. Like this was the adult bee. That would make a lot more sense, because these bees are huge. Are you kidding me? Look at this sucker. He's massive. Now, bees actually are, as you can tell, they're neutral mobs. So they're similar to zombie pigmen, where they're fine unless you do something to tick them off. Like, let's get a swarm going here for a second. If I hit one, their eyes turn red and they start coming for you. Oh gosh, I can hear their buzzing. Ah! If they hit you, they do poison you. Oh boy. And they actually, like, each one can only sting you once. Because that's, oh gosh, you can actually see that. You can see as I'm walking right there, I have stingers sticking out of me the same way arrows would stick out of me. Oh boy. So yeah, so bees can only sting once, kind of like in real life, but unfortunately also like real life, the bee will eventually die now that it doesn't have a stinger. So eventually this bee is going to die. I'm not sure how long it takes, it just takes a little bit, but it's gonna drop, and it doesn't drop anything, it's just gonna drop to the floor, and that's gonna be it. But there is a new kill message if you get killed by a bee, so let's go ahead and punch this one. Kill me. Kill me. Really? Someone kill me. There we go. And then it tells you you were stung to death. That is the new kill message they added in this update. Why are they still mad at me? I respawned. You guys are still mad? You guys are still mad? Oh boy. But yeah, it does give you a poison effect, and the stingers do stick in you. So the bees, honestly, like, so these are again, everything pretty much in this snapshot is based around bees. So let's talk a little bit more about them before we move on to the other things. Like this one, still angry. Just get some regular bees in here who want to do some work. So I spotted some bees, and what they will do is they will actually look for flowers, which is why we are in this biome. This is actually one of the biomes they spawn in, the flower forest. And let's see, is a bee going to... Oh, this one right here. This one visited a flower, and now it has pollen. And once it has pollen, it needs to return to some kind of hive, which there are two types I'm going to talk about. Oh, that one apparently stung me and is now dead. But they do get pollen on them. They do get angry if you tick them off. And they're honestly massive. They need to be smaller. I really think they need to be smaller. I like the general design, but they really need to be smaller. So that is the bee. Let's talk about one of those homes I was talking about, one of the types of hives, and this one is the one that spawns naturally. So this first hive is not actually called a hive, it is called a bee nest. So let's go ahead and grab these things. So this is a bee nest. Let's go ahead and put it down, boom. That is a bee nest. So see, look, that bee right there in pollen, it needed to go back to a nest, so it just flew in. And the bee is actually inside here. If I use this axe, the bee is still in here. The bee is still in this nest. And if you notice, the axe I use has silk touch on it. That's because you need silk touch in order to pick up a hive. Well, technically not a hive, excuse me. a nest. Hive is a different block that I will get to at the end. But as you can see, this is the design right here, and there are these 2 holes on one side. And so I'm going to use the debug stick here. Oh, I need to be creative for that. Hold on. There we go. So you can see honey level is something that changes. So there's 5 honey levels. It depends on how quickly the bees are there. Like, more bees there are, and they'll just cycle through and they fill this thing up. So this is setting honey level to 1, to 2, 3, 4, nothing changing. But when I change honey level to 5, boom, it changes the texture, and there is now honey in this hive. Now the nest, sorry, I really need to call it a nest, not a hive, because a hive is different. But now this thing's full of honey, and they do spawn naturally in a couple biomes. This is what I was just saying, the flower forest, and even right over here, I discovered there is a naturally spawning nest right here. So that's what you see. They'll just be up against trees and places. This one's kind of short, so it's on the ground. I wonder if they will be like up against the bottom of the leaves, so they'd be higher up. That would make more sense. But this is one of the biomes they spawn in, and that's what they look like. Now, what good are bees and their nests? Well, they actually give you some items, and those are some of the items I'm going to be talking about next. So the next item we're going to be talking about is the honey bottle. So, like, here it is right here. It's literally a bottle full of honey. That's literally what it is. So, what you do to get this is you need a glass bottle, and then I'm going to put only one in my hand here. Then you go up to a full hive like this. I mean, full nest. Hive works too, but for now, full nest. And you right-click it. And boom! You get a honey bottle. Now, you can drink it, and it has a different slurping sound than potions. But it doesn't currently give you any kind of status effect or health effect or anything like that. And you can even drink it when you're hungry, so I don't believe it actually deals with hunger. Let me actually, one second. Let me check this just to be sure. But there we go. I went down 3 hunger bars there. And go ahead and let hunger wear off real fast. There we go. Now if I drink the honey. Oh, whoa, it actually does give you hunger. Now I'm curious how much it does. So, back to giving me hunger. See, that's part of what's fun about these snapshot reviews. I'm kind of figuring this out along with you guys. I tried to do my best research, but not a lot of information about this as of yet. So there we go. I'm down to 3 hunger bars. Let's go ahead and drink this honey. Okay, so 3 is about what a bottle of honey does. So you actually can use this as a source of food, but it's not really efficient as you can't stack it, and it takes 5 levels of honey in order to harvest 1 bottle. So it's not the most effective source of food, but you can use it as a source of food. I did not even realize that. So there you go, learn something new every day. So that was the honey bottle. Oh, right, there was another thing about it too, huh? Let me just, yeah, I did that. Let me give myself another honey bottle real fast here. So, as you know, with sugar, if you put a sugar cane in here, you get a piece of sugar. Which is great and all, but if you have a honey bottle, you can place that in, and it gives you 3 sugar. It empties it out, and it makes 3 sugar. So, honey is a lot sweeter than actual sugar cane. Which makes a lot of sense, but that's what you can do. So it's a source of food, it's a source of sugar, so there is a benefit to farming honey. And I'm going to talk a little bit about farming honey at the end of the video, when I talk about different mechanics they added. But that is the honey bottle, and it is time to move on to another thing you can get from these bee nests. And let's just use this. Next, they have the honeycomb. So here's the honeycomb. There it is right there. It's the pretty messy texture, but it's 16 by 60. That's what I expected. I'm really actually excited to see what the faithful version of this looks like. So the honeycomb you also get from bee nests, but you don't use a bottle. Instead, you use shears. So let's go ahead into this one because I know it's full. Let's, for now, get rid of these leaves so that you can see it. Okay, so now if I walk up to this nest, see it's full of honey. It's at level 5, and I right-click it with the shears. Oh, I didn't realize they would get mad at you for that. Okay, apparently, yeah. So I knew that if you broke their house, bees will actually get mad at you for that. I didn't realize if you sheared their house that they would get mad at you too. Maybe it's because they were in there, but oh, that's dangerous. But as you can see, we got 3 honeycomb from shearing that. So honeycomb, you can't eat it currently. I don't think you can, there's no like cookie or anything like that. I don't believe you can use it like in brewing or anything. Nope, yeah, you definitely can't use it in brewing. But you can use it in crafting a new block. And that is actually all honeycomb is good for at the moment. But that is how you get it. You use shears, right click on it. Carefully you don't tick off the bees. But you have this honeycomb and you can actually get the next thing. So let's go right on to that. And that is the beehive. This is why I keep saying it. So what you actually need is oak planks and honeycomb. And what you do is you put 3 oak planks on the bottom, 3 on the top, honeycomb right in the middle, and you get a beehive. Yep, that's the... Oh, didn't mean to place it down, but there you go. I have to grab it out of here anyway. That is the beehive. And just like actual beekeepers, this thing is basically a man-made beehive that works just the same as the bee nest. So it's player-made as opposed to naturally spawning, but it functions the exact same way. Let me actually show it to you here. So if I go in here and I get the debug stick, and no, you can break this. You can break... Oh, I thought you could break it by hand. How'd you guys already attach to it? You weren't even inside of it yet. Okay, apparently you can't break it by hand. I don't know why I thought you could. See, oh yeah, you can. It just fell over here. My bad. So you can break it by hand. It's the nest that you can't. So if you place this down, I can use the debug stick. Gotta be creative. I keep forgetting that. But here we go. Let's change the honey level up to 5. Oh, there we go. There we go. Honey level at 5, and you can see it through all these gaps here. Then you can basically just do the exact same thing. You right-click it with shears, and you get some of the honeycomb. Or you can go ahead and pull this up to level 5 after I grab the glass bottles. And you can get some honey. So it pretty much functions. Again, it's just a player-made version of this. So if you aren't finding a lot of these in your world and you want to try to have a big area full of bees, this would be the way to go. Just get the honeycomb from this. You get 3 right off the bat. So you harvest honeycomb from 1 nest and you have enough to make a hive. So you're basically copying the nest when you do that. Functions the exact same. You can go ahead and this one you don't need silk touch. That's the only main difference between it. But you can go ahead and use that and you can have honey farms going. Now, I am hoping that they add it for, like, brewing or crafting some other kind of food item in the future, because this is great right now, but honeycomb only has this 1 use, and seriously, 3 hunger bars for this that takes up an entire slot of your inventory it's just not worth it. So hoping that they'll add more honey functionality in future snapshots, because this is the first snapshot for 1.15, so we'll have to see where they're going with it. So I didn't tell you guys that I would be talking about how farming with this honey kind of thing would work. And I already showed you how to do it manually, but there's actually new dispenser mechanics that help with this. So what I'm going to do is grab all of this stuff here. Because dispensers, they always kind of worked with like sheep and shears and everything. But now you can actually use dispensers on hives and nests. So for now, let's go ahead and just place the lever down here. I actually need to go back and grab the debug stick so you don't have to wait so long. So I'm going to place to shears. That's what I was talking about. So let's go ahead into game mode creative. There we go. It says set honey level 5. Now if I pull this lever, boom, the shears work and it spits out the honeycomb. It really works that simple. And the same thing it works with a glass bottle. If I go ahead and put this back up to honey level 5, I pull that, because now dispensers actually will fill bottles, and not just with honey. You can actually go over here to like the water, place the dispenser down, put the glass bottle in there, and then if I pull this, it fills the glass bottle with water. So now you could actually, if you wanted to, like, if you had a really, like, crazy automatic brewing thing, you could actually set up with an infinite water source. It just needs a source block. A dispenser with a bunch of hoppers, chain of hoppers that are keep moving the bottles around, and then automatically fills up the bottles for you. So it's a pretty neat feature to have with the bottles as well. Now, I'm thinking that this means you can use this to, like, automate honeycomb and honey production. I have tried a little bit of it, but this is the kind of thing where I need your guys' help to help me figure this out. I'd like to see you guys tell me in the comments if you figured out how this works. Because I would think you just have to put down a comparator, hook up the redstone like that, and then as soon as this gets to level 5, you would think that this would go off, right? See, it goes to honey 5, but nothing happens. But if I change this mode, it does do that. And the same thing's true if I change it from lit to unlit. So it sort of works, but not exactly. I need you guys to let me know, like, if any of you know how a better way of how comparators work. If this is just me being a noob at redstone, or if it doesn't read the nests and the hives the same way. Because this actually seems like it'd be a very viable way to do an automatic honey farm, like where you can get a ton of honeycomb or a ton of honey bottles. It seems like it would work. You just set this up, put a ton of hoppers around it, and you're all set and good to go. So I'm hoping that this is just a bug, that the comparator doesn't recognize this as a new block working that way just yet, and that they'll fix it in the future, because this is a really simple way to do a honey farm, and it pulls in the new dispenser mechanics. So I don't see why they would give us new dispenser mechanics if they did intend us to use it like you would a dispenser, because it's so inefficient to just sit there and do this, wait for bees to do stuff, do this, wait for bees to do stuff. That just doesn't work that way. So it would be nice if you could automate it. But that is pretty much everything that we have to cover in this snapshot. We have bees, we have 2 different versions of bee homes, we have 2 different versions of honey you can get from that, and we have new dispenser mechanics that will go right alongside with this, and even for some brewing farms. So that is going to do it for this snapshot review, guys. Again, let me know in the comments if you know if I'm doing this wrong with the comparator, or if it's just not in the game yet. I really hope it is. Set up an automatic honey farm that way would be great. And no, an observer doesn't work either. It doesn't detect that block update for honey level. I did try that as well. Observer doesn't even put any kind of redstone signal out. So it's definitely going to have to do with the comparator. I'm just hoping that if it's not something I'm doing, that it's something that Mojang will fix before the full release of 1.15. And we've got time for that. Again, we don't even know what the theme of this update is going to be, although we are probably going to figure that out. I think Minecon is next month, so hopefully we'll figure that out then. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please drop a like and leave a comment down below if you did. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and help me reach 1,000 subscribers, where I'm going to do a face reveal and a custom play button unboxing. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys!